On February 9th, 2022, Samsung released three new devices: the Galaxy S22, the Galaxy S22 Plus, and the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Although choice is always a good thing to have, there's no doubt that it can sometimes be confusing. So today, we are going to be taking an in-depth look at the three choices you have within Samsung's current flagship series of phones, in the hopes that the information you'll see here will give you a better idea of which one is right for you. So with that being said, let's get right into this in-depth comparison of the Galaxy S22 series. So first off, let's start by taking a look at what you're going to get in the box with all three of these devices. And what that is a USB Type-C to C cable, a SIM ejector tool, and your quick start guide. Oh, there's also some cardboard, but I forgot to put that out here. Sorry about that. The S22 has a starting price of $799.99, which will get you 128 gigabytes of storage and 8 gigabytes of RAM. If you add $50 more, you'll get 256 gigabytes of storage, but the RAM will stay the same. The S22 Plus has the same choices in storage and RAM, but starts at $999.99 and goes up to a max of $1,049.99. The S22 Ultra is obviously the most expensive of the trio, with a starting price of $1,199.99. This will get you 128 gigabytes of storage and 8 gigabytes of RAM. If you add $100 more to that price though, you can double your storage and get 4 more gigs of RAM. Add $100 more to the price of the 256 gigabyte and you can get 512 gigabytes of storage, but still only 12 gigabytes of RAM. If you want the highest amount of storage you can get, you'll have to dish out an additional $200 over the prices I just mentioned for the 1 terabyte, but you'll still only get 12 gigabytes of RAM. The S22 series, to my knowledge, has the most color choices available of any Samsung devices released in the US. The S22 and S22 Plus have the same exact color choices. Those choices are Phantom Black, Phantom White, which is what I have here in the S22 Plus, Green, Pink Gold, which is what I have here on the S22, and 4 Samsung.com exclusive colors, which are Graphite, Cream, Sky Blue, and Violet. The standard color choices for the S22 Ultra are Phantom Black, Burgundy, Phantom White, Green, which is what I have here for the S22 Ultra, while the Samsung.com exclusive colors are Graphite, Sky Blue, and Red. Now, be warned, I mentioned this in another video, the red is more of kind of like a salmon color, so don't expect it to be something that's like a deep red. It's really more of a salmon color. Thankfully, this time you won't have to sacrifice color choice for the amount of storage and RAM you want, since all color variants are available with any amount of storage configuration. The only thing to be aware of is that you'll have to potentially wait longer for the Samsung.com exclusive colors, if they're even in stock at that point in time. So there is actually one more color, and that is the Bora Purple. Now this is available on Samsung.com, it seems, and it is available in the same 128 gig and 256 gig. However, it takes about 4 to 5 weeks to ship for the 128 gig currently, and the 256 ships instantly. This is only available in the Galaxy S22, not the S22 Plus. All three devices are made from the same premium materials, which are the light but tough Armor Aluminum and Gorilla Glass Victus. Each device has their front-facing camera located in the center at the top of the display. The 22 and 22 Plus look very similar when looking at them head-on, with their flat displays and rounded corners. You'd be forgiven if you mistake the two for one another, but the S22 Plus is a bit taller due to its bigger display. The S22 Ultra does have an even more distinct look that separates it from the other two, since it has a more rectangular shape and it's taller and wider display that spills over the edge and gives it the illusion of it wrapping around the device. Carrying over the same trend, the 22 and the 22 Plus look very similar here again, while the S22 Ultra looks a little bit different. The S22 and 22 Plus share the same exact camera hump, 3 cameras, and a flash module, while the S22 Ultra has one more camera for a total of 4, the laser autofocus, and flash. It also forgoes the camera hump that the other two both have and trades it in for individual camera bumps. The left sides of both the 22 and 22 Plus are flat, while the S22 Ultra has a more rounded piece of aluminum that connects both the front display and back panel. On the right side of the 22 and 22 Plus, you have your power button and volume rocker again sitting on the flat aluminum edges here. While on the 22 Ultra, you have your power button and volume rocker sitting on the curved piece of aluminum. The top of the 22 and 22 Plus again share the same design language. While looking at the top of the 22 Ultra, you can see that it's also flat here. It has more of a rounded flat edge over here, which probably is not the right way to say that, but I think you get what I mean. For the last part of all 3 phones, you'll see here that the 22 and 22 Plus again are flat, whereas the S22 Ultra has that sort of flat round circle edge kind of thing going on. The bottom of all 3 is also where you'll find your speaker, your charging port, and your SIM card. However, if you take a look at the S22 Ultra, there's something extra here, which is where the S Pen sits, since this phone is supposed to be the spiritual successor of the Note series. To give you a better idea of the size differences between all phones, here are all 3 of them stacked on each other. Notice how the S22 Plus does give you a bit more screen than what's on the S22, while the S22 Ultra still has a bit of a wider screen than the S22 Plus, but it's also taller. Now, just in case anybody is wondering, no, these phones do not sit flat on a table. You will want to get yourself a case or some kind of protective material to put on the back so you do not risk scratching your camera modules. All 3 devices share the same IP68 dust and water resistance rating, which means you won't have to worry about anything nature can throw at you, or maybe even what your kitchen can throw at you, or maybe even your toilet. As long as you are keeping these phones away from any salt water, you should be good to go. As I mentioned before, the S22 Ultra is the only device that comes with and can use the S Pen. That S Pen has all of the functionality you'd expect from one that comes with a Samsung device, like Air Actions, Air Commands, and everything else. After all, the S22 Ultra was modeled after the late but great Note series. If you do end up getting an S22 Ultra and would like to learn everything about the S Pen, please check out my in-depth video on how to use the S Pen and all of its functions, to which I'll have a link in the top right corner of this video. In that video, I go over everything you need to know and how to get the best out of this amazing tool. All 3 phones have colorful and vibrant AMOLED panels that have one similarity but more differences. That one similarity is that they can all refresh up to 120 Hz, which makes operation and content consumption as smooth as can be. The S22 Ultra is the only one of the 3 that can lower its refresh rate to as little as 10 Hz, while the other 2 devices can only go as low as 48 Hz. All 3 displays can get pretty bright, with the S22 Ultra and S22 Plus able to reach a maximum brightness of 1750 nits, while the S22 tops out at 1300 nits, which should still be enough for more than most out there. Both the S22 and S22 Plus have a set FHD Plus resolution that cannot be modified, while the S22 Ultra can be set to either HD+, FHD+, or QHD+, or 4K for short. As a reminder, you really might not be able to tell the difference in resolution between the three screens unless you're really looking for it. As a matter of the fact, none of you have probably noticed, but I have had the S22 Ultra on FHD Plus for the whole time. So if this looks okay to you, then I wouldn't worry about the resolution at all. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 is the processor of choice in all three phones, while the RAM is LPDDR5. The big thing about the processor is that it's built on the 4nm process. This means that you should get more power and performance when compared to previous Snapdragon variants. The performance of all three of these phones should be more than enough to get you through all of your common everyday tasks with enough power to spare for any other task you plan to do or can think of. Now, I will admit, I don't play games on my phone at all, or at least nothing that's going to be really in-depth, but it does look to me that these phones put out some decent performance. However, someone who is an actual phone gamer might say different. If 5G does catch your interest in any way, you'll be happy to know that all three devices share the same 5G standards this time around. Both the N38 and N41 wavebands are included on all three, which means you won't have to worry about whether you'll be able to experience the fastest 5G speeds available. Now, of course, 5G doesn't matter to everybody, but it's good to see Samsung making the push to have the best 5G tech on their latest and greatest. When it comes to Wi-Fi, you would think that all three would share the same specification, but they actually don't. The S22 Ultra and S22 Plus both share the same Wi-Fi 6E standard, while the S22 only has Wi-Fi 6. I'm not sure why Samsung didn't just give all three the same Wi-Fi specification, but having Wi-Fi 6 on any device should be good enough, especially since at this point, most people are probably working on an older Wi-Fi standard anyway. At least all three devices have the same Bluetooth 5.2 version, which means your new headphones and other various Bluetooth devices will benefit from the enhancements. And of course, there are the same general connectivity standards between all three in the way of USB 3.2 at Gen 1 speeds, NFC, HDMI, and DisplayPort out of the USB-C port at the bottom for DeX and other various use cases. The S22 and 22 Plus share the same 10 megapixel front-facing camera, while the S22 Ultra has a 40 megapixel front-facing camera, just in case you really feel the need to crop in on that selfie without losing too much detail. Now, each of these devices has an exceptional rear camera that can adapt to pretty much any situation you can put them in. However, the S22 Ultra does take it up a notch by including not only the 3x optical zoom camera like what's on the S22 and 22 Plus, but also a 10x optical zoom lens that can also digitally zoom up to 100 times should you feel the need to further your secret agent career. The S22 and 22 Plus can go as far as 30 times zoom, which is still more than a lot of phones out there. Like I said, exceptional cameras on all three of these phones, but the only reason someone might want to look into the 22 Ultra's camera set is because of its versatility. Now, of course, none of these specs mean anything unless you see what these cameras can do. So let's go ahead and move on to the picture samples. So for these samples, I left all three phones on auto, didn't do any manual focusing, so you're going to see these pictures as the software intended them to be. we are going to do now is the audio test. So for these tests, keep in mind I do not control the volume. I do not mix the volume. I don't do anything to it. You're going to hear these speakers as loud as they are and as clear as they are. Alternatively, if the audio does not matter to you, you can go ahead and skip this part of the video because this is going to take about 4 minutes. You know I like to do my in-depths. So be sure to turn down your volume because I don't want to break any eardrums. But yes, let's go ahead and do this audio test for sure. For those out there interested in how the microphone sounds, we are going to move on to the microphone test here. This is a test of the microphone on the Galaxy S22, the Galaxy S22 Plus, and the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Hopefully I am sounding very, very clear on these very premium phones. This is a test of the microphone on the Galaxy S22, the Galaxy S22 Plus, and the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Hopefully I am sounding very, very clear on these very premium phones. This is a test of the microphone on the Galaxy S22, the Galaxy S22 Plus, and the Galaxy S22 Ultra. Hopefully I am sounding very, very clear on these very premium phones. The battery capacity in each phone is different. The smallest battery here comes in the S22, which has a 3700 milliamp hour battery, while the S22 Plus gets you 800 more for a total of 4500 milliamps. Finally, you have the S22 Ultra, which comes with a 5000 milliamp hour battery. The charging specifications on the S22 Plus and S22 Ultra are the same, with charging speeds up to 45 watts, while the S22 can only charge up to 25 watts. All three devices can charge up to 15 watts on a wireless charger, and all three also have 4.5 watt reverse wireless charging. Now with all of that convoluted battery and charging talk out of the way, let's get on to the battery drain test. Alright, so for this video test, each phone is charged to 100%, and the videos here are set to 2160p. So the idea behind this, of course, again, is just to kind of give you an idea. But let's see if I can actually start all of these at the same exact time. I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen, but let's do it anyway. Alright, so yeah, like I said, it wasn't going to happen, but I'm going to set this timer here for 45 minutes and 10 seconds. The video is 45 minutes and 25, so I'll be back in a few. Alright, so I'm back and I am a little bit over, about a minute and counting over. It looks like the S22 and S22 Plus were just kind of like, oh yeah, we're going to keep on with the videos, and the S22 Ultra was just like, I've had enough. So let's go ahead and see where these batteries are right now. Alright, so as you can see here from left to right, we have the S22 sitting at 92%, the S22 Plus sitting at 93%, and the S22 Ultra sitting at 94%. How ironic is that those are in sequence? I am not sure. But you can also see that the projected battery life is only 1 hour more on the S22 Ultra than it is on the other two. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to try and drain these batteries to about the same, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do the charging test. So let's try to drain them to about maybe like, I don't know, like 70% or something. Alright, so with some time and patience, I was actually able to get the batteries down to 50% each. Let me make sure that it says battery on there so no one calls a logical fallacy. And yeah, got these batteries down to 50%, and what I'm going to be doing is using this completely advanced charging solution, which consists of 3 25 watt chargers, and we are going to charge these for about, let's say, what is it, 9:33 p.m. right now. I'm gonna give that till 10 and see where these get within 30 minutes. So let me see if I can get the charges in here. Let's start with the S22 Ultra, because I'm not going to be able to get these all in at the same time, but I'll do the biggest battery first. So, alright. Let's do the S22 Ultra, 1, 22 Plus, and then 22. Alright, so it is 9:34 actually. I'm going to come back at 10. Yeah, let's come back at 10:04. Alright, so I am back, and I did get back here at 10:04, but it's 10:05 now. In the 30 minutes, we have the S22 at 90%, the S22 Plus at 94%, And we have the S22 Ultra at 92%. And then you can also see the projected time until full there on all three, with the S22 at 16 minutes until full, 7 minutes for the S22 Plus, and 13 minutes for the S22 Ultra. So yeah, there is an idea of how fast these phones can charge on at least the 25-watt charger. Now on the software side of things, honestly, there's really not going to be that much of a difference. If you're familiar with Samsung's One UI software within the past maybe 2 to 3 years, it's really going to be very, very familiar to you. The only things that are different here that you will see on the S22 Ultra that you won't see on these two is the fact that you can go ahead and change the resolution here on the S22 Ultra, while obviously on these two, like I mentioned before, you don't have that option whatsoever. These are going to be fixed resolutions, but yeah, you can go in here to the S22 Ultra and change this to 4K if you want on the screen. Although, like I also said, I have had this in FHD Plus for the whole time. So if you didn't notice a difference, you probably don't even really need to worry about this setting here. The only other difference I can really think of here too is the fact that you have all of the S Pen creative tools that you would get on a device with an S Pen, which obviously you won't have here because these two do not use an S Pen. So, you know, everything you would normally see on a device with an S Pen, you can pretty much get it here. And you have here your settings for the S Pen. Every single thing is here, and that is going to be the real difference. Now, like I also mentioned before, if you would like to learn more about the S Pen and how to use it, because you are a first-time owner of a device with an S Pen, I will post the link up to the video I made going over this tool in depth. But other than that, yeah, there's not really much to talk about in the software space. Any updates you'll get will really come with the same amount of features on all three phones, with the exception of if they update some kind of feature with the S Pen, and that'll only be on the S22 Ultra anyway. So yeah, I don't have anything really much to say about software anymore. Okay, so we are at the end of this video, and of course, like always, we go over a lot, and I put a lot into these videos. You know, the last few parts, the battery and all that stuff is very, very hard to coordinate, but I do hope you all got something from here. And I hope that it clarifies the differences between all three of these devices. You can't really go wrong with any one of them. It's really just going to be more of what you're looking to get out of your device. But I think any one of these devices will be good enough for anybody that buys them. And they do offer some features that you won't see on a lot of other phones. With all that being said, wherever you are in the world, have a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, or a great night, and I will see you in the next video. And thank you for watching as always.